Hi there and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Stacy Spangler and I'm a mixed media artist. I use a lot of color, texture, layers, a lot of papers in my art, and one question I get is what do I use with my collage to adhere my papers? So today we're going to talk about that and we'll get started. Have a giant collage piece. This is just it was inspired by the quilts that I have from my grandmother. She was a fabulous quilter and she just used her fabric scraps, and so I decided to kind of take that concept and put it into use with my paper scraps. And so you can see that some of these are really thick papers. There's a lot of layering here, and so it's really important. I've even got some stitching on some of these here, and so you can see that it's really important that I have a good adhesive to hold these papers down so that they don't peel up or bubble. And so I'm going to talk about that today. This is just one example of collage. You can do, depending on your type of collage, will depend on the type of medium that you want to use to put your collage down. This piece here, I really wanted you to see, still be able to see the texture of this paper and not have quite such a shiny finish. So I used a matte gel medium. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the kinds of mediums and some of my favorites today. I'm currently working on Flowers Magic Art Fest, and if you're interested in my lesson in this, you can check it out. I'll put links in the notes for this YouTube video, but I thought this would be a great complimentary lesson to kind of show you my favorite types of mediums and tell you a little bit about them. I think one thing that I get asked the most when I'm talking about collage is, can you use Mod Podge? I don't recommend Mod Podge, really for two reasons. The biggest reason is it dries really sticky, and so I don't find it to be compatible for more art that I'm selling. Even in journaling, it's hard for me to use because it makes your pages stick together. You really have to put something between the pages to preserve them. And so in my art, I've really moved over to using a acrylic gel medium. And there's lots of brands out there. If you're wanting to use a more craft-based collage medium, I would recommend this. This is what I use for my journaling, along with, like an acrylic gel medium. But this is the matte. So you can usually choose matte, which is just a dull finish, and it will just keep the look of your current art. Then you can do like a gloss finish, which is got a little bit of a sheen to it. Or you can do a high gloss and get a really shiny look to your piece. So you can see here on this piece, there is a little bit of a shine where I've used the gel medium. And I used here this, it's Blick brand gel medium, acrylic medium, and it is not distinguished as a gloss or a matte, but it kind of finishes as a really low gloss. And so I'll come back and touch this up and then put a sealer over it. But that was an option, kind of show you how that looks there. This collage, like I said, is a matte finish, so you can still see the dry texture in this watercolor paper that I used in this handmade paper here. You can still touch and feel all that texture, and it all is different. Where I use this acrylic paint here, this is a little bit shinier, so the matte will just keep the finish true to what your medium is that you're using, a gloss will change the finish. So let's talk a little bit about the different kinds of gloss here. So my preferred gloss or gel medium for collage of all of them is the soft gel gloss. And I like this, and I'm just going to show you here. I'll open this up. Why I like it is that it's really light. It's liquidy enough to where you can, and I'll just kind of show you here with, let's put this leaf in the corner here. You can spread it, and it spreads really easily, but it's thick enough. This paper here is, you can see it kind of curls, and so this is thick enough to really make those edges come down. And just a little tip, I usually use gloves and use my fingers, but you want to make sure you get all those bubbles out and then come back over the top with that gel. And you can get it down really good. You can also use, if your paper is not a fine paper and you really need to work the bubbles out, you can use a card like this and just lightly make sure you get all the bubbles out. But you want to make sure that you have enough gel on the underneath so that it squirts out to the side so that you can spread that around and really work that completely underneath that thing. So that is probably my favorite gel, is that the golden soft gel gloss. It's probably also the most expensive, but there's other good ones out there. You can just try them out depending on, you know, how you do your art. If you sell it or if you just do it for hobby or for fun, you might not want to use this brand if you're just a hobbyist. But there's other, like I said, there's usually, I think Blick and Jerry's, they all carry their own brand of gel medium, and they work just fine. I've used this before. You can see the consistency of this is about the same as the golden. It's just a little bit thicker, okay? A little bit thicker there. Oops. So the soft gel glosses do have a little bit of a sheen to them though. So they're going to be a little bit shiny. Then you have like a matte gel. So this is a Liquitex matte gel. And as I told you before, you can see the consistency on this is really similar to the soft gel. It's just not quite as runny. So you got to work it a little bit more. But this is great. The thicker gel is great the more layers you have, and like if you're putting on fabric, or if you have a piece that you want to attach, a piece of assemblage that's really, really heavy, and you want to make sure that you have some gel to stick it down in. These thicker gels are great for that because they'll adhere and they dry clear. Those are those three. And then there's also, that's a soft gel. Golden used to have these little, I used to love them, these little sampler things. This one is an extra heavy gel matte. So this is also would be great if you have assemblage, and I don't know if I have enough in here to even show, but it comes out and it's really almost like toothpaste. Yeah, I'm about out of this. I need to order some more, but this would be great for assemblage. Like if you have buttons or keys or, you know, big chunks of paper that are thicker fabric, the extra heavy gel medium is a great choice for that. And here you can see regular gel semi-gloss, so you can start getting into the types of sheen for your collage that you'd like to have. And one question I get is, once you seal it, do you need to put another coat over the whole top of it? It just depends on what you want the finish to look like. Normally, if my background is white like this, I don't know if you can see, but you can kind of see where I have the gloss or the gel medium. where the sheen's different than the background. So I will go back over this and seal it. But really, when you seal it, it's down pretty good, especially if you go back over the top like I showed you. That gives it a good, nice seal and protects it. All of these that I'm showing you are, you know, it says that they're archival quality, and you can see here, where does it say? Yeah, I'm not seeing where it says that, but I saw it on something a minute ago. Maybe it was this one. Anyway, but these are a good sealer. You can also use these to extend your color. It says that in here. And what that means is, like, if you want to make a color more translucent, make it go farther, you can add a little bit of this, and it does make it more watered down, but it gives it a neat look. You can also use it for a texture, especially this heavy, the heavy gel mat. You can mix that with your paint and use a palette knife and really get a nice impasto or impasto style of paint. And like I said, it does make your paint more translucent because you're adding something to the pigment, but it does give it a nice heavy, thick feel to it. So hopefully that answers all your questions. I would love to hear what other questions you have about collage. My main tips are, you know, you start with the base layer and you just keep building up, and you get that collage, the medium really thick under there. Squish it out, make sure all the bubbles are worked out, and then go back over the top with some and let it dry a good 24 hours before you do anything else to it. You can, the nice thing about most of these mediums that I'm showing you, like if I want to come back, say on something like this, and do some pen work after it's dry, it will still, you know, you can still do that. You can come back and do some details with like a Posca pen, or if you had another type of pen that you wanted to do some work over, and then you could just set that with a spray fixative, or you could pat some more gel on top. If you're using something like, if you had some marks in here that were done with a water soluble type marker or marking tool, you would need to put some adhesive, fixative on that, or seal it before you actually collage it, because otherwise your stuff will run, because you are adding liquid to the water soluble product, and so it will make it liquid, or will activate it. And so remember to do that if you're using any water soluble mediums. Most of mine are acrylic mediums or permanent mediums, so I don't really have to deal with that, but sometimes on my papers I will do that, and so I'll spray them with a spray varnish or a spray fixative before I collage them, and then I'm just really careful when I'm rubbing it in not to smear, and so it doesn't go all over the rest of your artwork. So hopefully that is helpful. I would love to have any other questions that you have. You can put them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Acrylic mediums are great. They're very flexible and versatile. There's lots you can do with them. They're also very messy, so it's fun to, you'll be peeling your hands for days if you don't wear gloves. But anyway, check out my new collage lesson as part of the Flowers Magic Art Fest this year. And hop on over to my Instagram page and you can get the links there.